What is up, my Lorcana Goons? Welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin, and you're watching the Monday Weekly Market Watch. We do these every Monday and Friday. Today is May 13th, and if you're watching this, I appreciate you. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you are a Lorcana Goon and you like this content, because it does support the channel. We talk about Lorcana news, meta trends, and card prices. So we're gonna go ahead and get on into this. Today, I really want to touch up on Ursula's Revenge, my goons, because this Friday we're gonna start hitting this new set 4 of Lorcana. Can you believe it? Set 4. We're gonna start seeing this set hit your local game stores very soon. You're also going to be able to find this new set at Disneyland. Now, I did mention that in the last video, and there was a comment asking where at Disneyland. Specifically, at least I know, in the one in California, you find it at the Disneyland. You find it at Downtown Disney, which is not even in the park. It's actually a part of the. It's before the entrance of the park. You can find it. When in the general parking, you don't really have to pay for parking. Even if you pay for something in there, you can get your parking validated. So it's pretty much like free parking. You go to Downtown Disney, which again is not inside the Disneyland park, and specifically in California, in Anaheim, when you go to Pin Traders. It's a little store. You can ask any Disney employee there where Pin Traders is at, and they'll point you in the right direction. Or you can follow all the Lorcana goons that are going to line up with them as well, because you're definitely going to see people lined up at Disneyland. Now, I'm not too sure when it comes to the Florida ones where you go, or but I do know, or like even in Paris or something, if we have some people watching not from the United States. But I would definitely try and reach out to any sources you have available. Maybe even contact the Disneyland or call them yourself. Or if you guys are avid Disneyland goers, then ask them, are you guys doing anything? Sometimes they don't even know. But I've known from the last 3 sets that in the one in California, you line up at Pin Traders, and you're gonna be able to find the product. You're gonna find booster packs. You'll find troves, gift sets, and mats. At least the last time when Inklands came out, they did that. And then when Rise of the Floodborn came out, it took them at least like a couple months before they stocked up the Disneyland store, but they also did that. You were able to get gift sets. The only thing was mats, but in the last drop of Inklands, they had mats available. So I didn't get any, and actually shout out Alex if you're watching the video. I had a homie who was nice enough to pick up a mat for me, which is really cool. I do want to definitely mention that and go over some cards from Ursula's Revenge that I think are going to be notable. Cards that are probably going to be popular in the upcoming format. I do always want to mention though that the pre-order pricing is always pretty inflated, and these card prices usually do tend to come down right when the set comes out. So we're going to see these prices, how much it's changed by Friday. But Ursula, Sea Witch Queen, this card is really strong. It's a 7 ink inkable. You have Quest for 3, which is really powerful for Amethyst decks, and you can shift it on top of your Ursulas, and there's so many Ursula targets in Emerald. So if you thought Emerald Amethyst was pretty powerful last format, this new coming format, Emerald Amethyst is going to be pretty strong. So I do think that if you pull this card, if you pull it in a foil especially, I would maybe hold on to it when it becomes kind of a meta card. I do think this is going to be a meta card. Shifting onto your 2-drop Ursula, your 3-drop Ursula is not only really strong after you've already utilized their abilities, but making characters on the board now be able to sing songs is actually kind of crazy, in my opinion. So I do think that's really cool. And then on top of that, the ability to exert a chosen character when you quest is pretty strong as well. I've been testing it out. We have a video coming out soon of Emerald Amethyst playing this card and Ursula, and some other cards as well from the new set. But again, notable cards, some notable legendaries I want to go over, like in the new set coming out. So Ursula Sea, which is one. Diablo, Devoted Herald. So many people are playing Diablo. It feels like Emerald is getting some of the best cards this set, along with Amethyst. But yeah, Diablo, very strong. I think if you pull this card in a cold foil, I'd probably hold on to it. I think there's going to be a lot of hype around it. And then, like I said, we're going to see the prices fluctuate. So you'll probably see this price dip at one point. So if it does fall pretty low, I'd probably encourage it. I don't think it's like a broken card either necessarily. I think it's great. I think it's very good actually. Draw power is always good in Lorcana, especially a card that has evasive, right? It does lose out to steel cards because it only has 2 willpower, but man, it's a shiftable character. It has evasive, and during the opponent's turn, whenever they draw cards, you draw a card. So it has to be considered for that ability, but it's still just extremely powerful in my opinion. And yeah, I think it's going to be a staple in Emerald coming in soon. So I do think that this is going to be very popular. And if you want to get your play sets, when you see the prices start coming down the first weekend, you know what I mean, that might be the time to pick up some of these very popular cards that I think are going to be very popular. But yeah, I do think that this combined with a lot of the Amethyst cards, or even just like Emerald in general, the Emerald engine is going to get a lot of support this set, and you're going to be able to use it. You're going to be able to use Diablo in a bunch of other colors, which is cool. And yeah, I was reading a comment that said last format we had a Jafar themed deck introduced to the set. Now, are we going to have an Ursula themed deck because of the Ursula shift character? And I think we are. I think we're having like a lot of villain themed decks this set, you know, because we're going to be seeing like combos with Diablo and Ursula and whatnot. So that's going to be cool. We mentioned this last video as well. Ariel, Sonic Warrior is going to be really popular for sure. In the beginning of the format, I think Amber Steel players really want to see how strong this card can be. In like my little playtesting on Pixelborn, I think this card's actually pretty good. In any matchup that does not play Madame Medusa, this card that does a lot of damage on the board and adds a lot of pressure. It's hard to get this card out of the way. It has 8 willpower. That's actually like just really, really powerful. The 3 strength is also pretty nice because it contests foxes, crabs, and all the other like a lot of the characters that usually add pressure to an Amber Steel board. You can now kind of reverse the pressure by playing a card like this. That's going to let you use a smash every time you play a song. You do have to pay 2 extra ink, so it is a little slow. You know, but I do think against other matchups, this does have a lot of potential, even against like Amber Steel mirror matches or something. So in general, though, is it going to be worth $20? Like I said, these prices are very volatile. As soon as the game comes out, like on Friday, as soon as the set releases, you're going to see all these prices start coming down to their true value. And I think this card's going to be really popular in the beginning of the game. So if you have a cold foil and you want to just get rid of it because a lot of people are asking you for it, I feel like it is a very good card, but you're not going to have to play like 4 of them or anything. So, you know, why not get rid of that? It may pick some non-foils. Mulan, Elite Archer. I think this legendary has the potential as well. But yeah, the legendaries in this set that have potential, I think, are for sure going to be Ursula, Diablo, and Mulan. I don't think there's that, in my opinion, I'm not really too excited for any other legendaries in this set. This set kind of does remind me of Rise of the Floodborn a little bit, to the extent in which a lot of the better cards in this set are rares, uncommons, even common, which is great because it means the game's going to be cheap and it's going to be you know, not as expensive of a hobby to play and get into even competitively, but we're still going to have nice cold foils, which yes, cold foils are the holographic cards, if you did not know. Mulan Elite Archer, I think, is a card that some people are very interested in. So I think in the beginning of the weekend on Friday, you're going to see a lot of people asking you for this card if you pull it or something, or if you have a cold foil, you might be able to like fetch a hefty price on opening weekend. But like I said, the card prices, they fluctuate over the weekend after we start to see whether or not some cards are going to be, you know, powerful. Remember, we saw cards like Jafar go from $30 to $10, and Jimbo Hawkins, we saw him go from $35 to $10. So we'll see what happens. But let's take a look at Mulan right here. It's a 6 ink inkable ruby card. Really excited for this card to come out. Shiftable Mulan, a ruby card that's going to let you add more pressure, which is kind of nice, you know, dealing damage and adding more removal to the ruby deck alongside with some characters. Flynn Rider, I think, is going to be really popular in the beginning of the format, depending on how much play it actually sees. This Ruby Flynn Rider lets you generate 3 lore at the start of your turn. It only has 2 strength, 2 willpower, but it's still at the beginning of the game that can still just give you 3 lore, and that can stack up to where you've done it multiple times, and then bam, you're gonna be in lethal range for a goat. Second Star to the right has a lot of high potential in this coming format, I think. It's going to be $11? Probably not. It's just a rare. But, you know, I think this is going to be as popular a rare as something like Queen's Castle was when Inklands came out. So if you do have this card, I think people are going to start asking you for it. A lot of potential. Draw 5 cards, and you can sing it together with multiple characters. This Sing Together ability is going to make a lot of cards, I think, better than we think they are. Cards like Ursula, Ariel, and I do have them in this market watch, so we will go over them. But I do think the Sing Together mechanic is a little underestimated right now, so I think Second Star to the right might be a pretty nice card next format in terms of meta capability. Like I said, pricing wise, the pre-order prices are always inflated, but for the most part, I do think people are going to ask you for this card on opening weekend, so make sure you have them, keep them in your trade binder, or make sure you know what to put to the side so you can move into your nice trade binder, so that when you're at your local game store this weekend, you have some trades ready to go. You know, I know people are going to ask me for Second Star to the right. Phil, I think Danny DeVito over here is a very strong card for Amber Steel. It's a 4 ink inkable that basically generates you lore every time you play a hero character, and I didn't realize how many characters in Amber Steel are heroes. Cinderella, Ariel, Robin Hood, Beast, they're all heroes. It's actually just really strong for that deck. So I think this card is gonna have some high potential, even in the future, right? So I'm talking like the way we look at cards like Maui, Be Prepared. Those are like $10 rares, but because they're from the first chapter, they're a little harder to find. Or because you're playing 4 of them, they become $10 rares. And then other cards kind of stick around the $5, because there's still plenty of like available to in circulation. But I do feel like these cards are going to be meta impacting. So if you start finding these cold foils and you just want to have like meta staples coming into the new format, I think cards like this are really good to start like trading for. But if you want any of these cards and you want to just open the packs and see if you can pull them yourself, Ursula's Return is going to hit local game stores this Friday. It's probably gonna, I'm sure, I mean, I'm not sure, but last time it was at Disneyland, on the early release. So I'm gonna be at Disneyland. I am not gonna miss out this time like I did last time. I felt so lame being like the only person in like SoCal that wasn't getting like troves and gift sets and mats, so I'm gonna make sure I go. I did have some pre-orders lined up from some local game stores last time, which was really cool. So I do appreciate that. This time around, there was a lot of allocation, at least enough in our area to be able to get some from a distribution situation. So me and Zach are gonna have some at the PLA Cards and Games. If you're in SoCal, be sure to pull up and you can get some booster boxes at MSRP. At least that's what I'll have them for. But yeah, right now, you're going to be able to get them pre-order for a little bit less than MSRP. If anything, we'll probably do market price because this is the market watch, right? A little bit less than MSRP right now, around 140. But compare this to Inklands, which is, widely available. This is the most recent set. You can still find the booster boxes for around 115. So if you just want to wait till Friday, we'll probably see Ursula's Revenge hit around that same price of a 115, before taxes and shipping and all that. So, but that I'm very excited. Friday, new format. So what are you going to need for this new format as we get into another season of Lorcana? You're probably going to need Beast Tragic Hero if you're playing Amber Steel, Sapphire Steel. You're going to be playing maybe even Emerald Steel, which is probably one of the best decks of the Inklands format. And I do think that right now, look at this graph. Look how low we are on this hill. I do feel like right now it might be a nice time to pick up your Sad Beasts if you were planning on playing a Steel deck next format. This card is not going to be bad. There's no way. There wasn't like a lot of extra removal that was added to the game that like makes cards like Beast any lesser. Like there's not like another Medusa in the game or anything that was introduced. There is other removal cards that deal random damage, but it doesn't feel like Beast is going to be any lesser of a card. So I do feel like copying this at $40 is not bad when at the peak of the meta, Beasts were selling for $60, for the non-foils, right? So around $42 with $2 shipping if you want to go through some non-verified sellers. Lowest verified is going to be paper or plastic with $43.72. So around $45 if you want to go through a verified seller. The cold foils today, if you want to be big balling and spend a little bit of extra money, they're $73, which is not bad compared to $100, which is what it was before. I think Ursula Deceiver of All is going to be so popular next format, man. Like Emerald, bro. Emerald is getting all the good cards in Ursula's Return, I think. Maybe not all the good cards, but I think Emerald's getting some of the best cards in Ursula's Return. And I think that they naturally just pair with Ursula Deceiver of All. That sing together mechanic is just crazy. Like it leaves me speechless sometimes thinking about how you can sing 7 cost songs twice because of Ursula, you know what I mean? And these songs have a hefty cost because they're like pretty good. Like, they have very heavy high impact abilities. So being able to utilize this with Under the Sea, This Is Our Family, or some of the other, like the second star to the right, you can draw 10. Actually kind of wild. I've seen people use this in a Jafar deck so that you gain 10 lore by comboing off Jafar, an exerted Jafar, and then an Ursula song. It's nice, man. Like, there's a lot of potential. And we've been seeing this card climb up little by little. It did have like a weird peak of like $50 for the non-foil, but I do think that might be the potential for this card next format. It's slowly climbing today. If you want some unverified listings for you, around $40 is what you'd have to pay for a non-verified seller. But if you want to go through our lowest verified set, it's going to be MPLS Card Exchange, $45. So it's already hitting those high points, my goons. Maybe you guys do want to cop the lowest non-verifieds, I mean, because they're still less than $40. But going by lowest verified, it's already getting close to that $45 price again. Because I'm telling you, Emerald. It's going to be really popular in the beginning of the format. I don't know how strong it's going to be, like, as we evolve and start to understand the new Ursula's Return format, but at least right now, Emerald, super hype, super strong as well. Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood, still very powerful. Being able to ship this on turn 3, seeing your songs that cost 3, 4, and 5 is just really nice. Robin Hood's a hero, so like I was saying, it has that synergy with the Danny DeVito card that we're getting that lets you gain lore. And I don't think this card is going to be bad at all anytime soon. I was personally sleeping on this card, and now that I see that $35, I feel like that's a more than reasonable price. These are some good legendaries that came out into the Inklands, so even if you want to buy a booster box, I feel like you have a very high chance of pulling some nice legendaries from Into the Inklands. Unlike Ursula's Revenge, I feel like Into the Inklands had way more nicer legendaries. Paper or plastic, low is verified for the Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood is going to be $35. I do want to see what the cold foils are selling at right now. Low is verified for our cold foil Robin Hood. They're always pretty close to the non-foils. It always surprises me. $43, about $10 more. MLD collects for the lowest verified, but some non-verified sellers have them for around $42. We forgot to check the cold foil price for Ursula, by the way. I am so sorry, Ursula. Did not mean to disrespect you like that. Some non-verified sellers have it for as low as $50 with $1.20 shipping, and lowest verified is going to be $57.78 with $1 shipping. Almost $60. Almost $60 for the cold foil Ursula, Deceiver of All, and then after that they start to hit $60 pretty close, pretty soon. So let's get on to the next one. Maleficent Monsters Dragon, as low as $26, my goons. This card's super cheap if you're playing Popsicle next format, if you're committed to that deck, or maybe you just want to pick up some Maleficent Monsters Dragons. Right now they look like they're on discount. Look at this, they're as low as they've been in a cool minute. Lowest verified today for a near mint is going to be paper or plastic again. Shout out you guys. These low prices, $26.84. Wow, this card was selling for $40 at one point during the peak of like Popsicle meta. Cold foils are still going to be pretty high, not $100 anymore, but lowest verified for a near mint is now $85.96. So almost $90, not $100, but still love to see the cold foils maintaining a good value. Non-foil Rapunzel, gifted with healing, going to be selling for $33 today, $33.50. Lowest verified by Gemini Games LLC. Rapunzel kind of just sticks around this price. So this is what you're gonna have to pay for Rapunzel's. Like, you know, it's either 35 or 30 for the most part, and the cold foils are gonna be around $70. Yep, sticks around that price as well. $72 MPLS card exchange, $72 for the cold foil Rapunzel. Rapunzel definitely gonna be good next format. I think we get a lot of potential next format with Amber, because there's a lot of new singers. There's a lot of new high willpower characters as well. And I think there's a lot of ways to kind of manipulate Rapunzel now. There's multiple ways to heal as well. So I think Mufasa decks are going to be good because we have Rapunzel and then we have the new Madrigal character. I think it's the mom, right? I forget the mom's name. Oh my gosh! but anyway, it's the mom. When you heal a character up to 2, if you do heal a character with you, draw a card. So because of that, I think that's gonna add some extra ability to play Mufasa decks. And naturally, if you're playing a Mufasa deck because you're using Mother Gothel Rapunzel combos, you're gonna be able to use Rapunzel as well. And that reminds me, we have more Mother Gothel type cards coming out in set 4. Cards like the new Mulan Ruby character or the new Ruby Beast. When they have high willpower, like Mulan is a 1 cost character with 2 strength and 3 willpower, and when she hits the board, you have to she takes 2 damage, so you're able to combo that off with Rapunzel. The Beast is a very similar situation. I think he takes 3 or 4 damage, but he's like a 3/2/6, so you can heal that with Rapunzel as well. So I do think Rapunzel has a lot of high potential next format, and right now they're around the same price that they've always been. But you know, if they ever become more than $35 cards, I'm gonna be kicking myself in the behind for not picking those up. Belle, strange but special. The burst potential for Sapphire with Lucky Diamond, I think, is still very relevant. We are getting a steel card that basically destroys all items on the board. You know, so like it's like a heavy storm for my Yu-Gi-Oh homies out there. But yeah, so if you want to invest in Sapphire, I think it's a decent deck still coming up in the new format. I think Steel is still the only card that has item removal anyways. So burst potential with Belle still very strong. It's going to be $22 for the non-foil near mint today. Gemini Games LLC, lowest verified. If you want a cold foil Belle, strange but special, they're still keeping a nice price. Lowest verified is going to be Zexion cards, $47 with $1.22 shipping. After that though, next verified is $52.98. So I would say Belle's still like a $50 legendary. Scar, Vicious Cheater, still around $14, almost $15 for the lowest verified today. It's going to be, yeah, $15.99 actually, $16 for the lowest verified today by LNF cards. You can pay a little bit less if you want to go through a non-verified seller, but Scar, Vicious Cheater, seeing some like a lot of meta play towards the end of the format. Definitely people playing it in Ruby Amethyst and Ruby Sapphire, and I think it's going to be just as popular next format because we're getting even more locations. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see some more new wacky location decks coming out, and Scar just outstills very well. Someone also pointed out in the comments last time that there's a location that basically generates you lore. You get 3 lore every time you challenge with a character that has 6 strength or more. Scar is one of those characters you can use. A Ruby location, very strong, very strong to combo off. But I do feel like that is asking a lot right now for a card when we don't know what the meta is going to be like next format. So unless you go into Atlanta at the Lorcana Challenge in Atlanta, then I don't see why you need to pay $15 for a Scar right now. You know what I mean? But I think as time goes on, that more locations, Scar just becomes even better. Last time we were looking at the cold fills because it looked like they were getting bought out, as you can see here in the sales data. Some were selling for as high as $55 last market watch. Yeah, 55, 53, and then over the weekend more got listed naturally, and we can see them for as low as 43 on non-verified listing. But RP Precon, lowest verified for the lowest verified for the cold foil near mint Scar is going to be $50 with $2 shipping. So Scar is now a $50 cold foil, my goons. Oh my gosh. Kicking myself again for not holding on to these, if we're not buying more of them. Actually, I should always sell my cards, but I should just keep buying the ones that I know that I like Scar, Vicious Cheater, Cold Foil. Cold foil legendaries, my goons. I'm telling you, cold foil legendaries. They're just nice. They're just nice to hold on to, I think. Especially when they're meta relevant. Mufasa, Betrayed Leader, like I was explaining, I think Mufasa decks become much more relevant next format with the ability to heal those damaged characters. Lowest verified today for a Mufasa is going to be $14, which is nice to see, almost $15 again. So these have been going up just a little bit. $27 for the cold foil is going to be the lowest non-verified and verified by Kaput cards. $27 with $2 shipping, so almost $30 for the cold foil Mufasa. Jafar is as low as it's ever been. It's still going to be around an $11. It's going up by like 75 cents from last market watch. So $11.75 MPLS card exchange going up just a little bit. Again, like I was talking about, I think there's a lot of potential in the future for Jafar. There are some people hyping up the Emerald Jafar deck, or even just being able to use Jafar to sing or to use cards like Second Star to the Right. I wouldn't recommend like saying like that this is going to be the best deck of the format or anything like that, or this is a meta deck. However, though, I do feel like this card is super cheap, and it has a lot of potential in the future as well. If we thought Jafar was broken before, I feel like the more we add draw cards into the game, the more broken he's going to be, right? So if you just feel strongly about Jafar, you feel like this is the card, and I feel like this is... Right now, they're cheap, bro. They're super cheap. It's not like you're paying $30, $40 like last time. So right now, you can find the cold foil super cheap as well. Oh my gosh. $17.99 for a light plate, $17.95 by Alpha Omega Cards. Shout out you guys for the lowest verified near mint. So it's about a $20 cold foil. He's cheaper on a cold foil than he was for the non-foil when Inklands first came out. So that's kind of nice. I think that's kind of nice, yeah, because when this card first came out, he was like selling for $40, bro. So you can get him for around $9 to $10. Same thing, Jimbo Hawkins, more locations coming out this set. I think more locations coming out in the future as well always makes this card decent. So if you feel like Jim Hawkins is the card, he's $10 right now. I'd love to see that. Cold foils are still pretty cheap as well, $20 pretty much, $19 very lowest verified TNG cards for Jimbo Hawkins. Some of the locations, like the steel ones we get, are like whatever in my opinion, but there are some nice Ruby locations that we're getting. I think it's called the Snuggling Duckling, right? That's the one where you get the you gain lore when you attack. But there's a decent amount. Oops, there's a decent amount of locations coming out in this set. Some better than others. I'm starting to see Kita see a lot of play on Pixelborn right now, and Amber decks and Amber Emerald decks that are utilizing Under the Sea. So the combo is to be able to use Kita or shift Kita, and then use Kita to sing Under the Sea with another character as well. So you can be able to move your opponent's characters to the bottom of their deck because now they have less than 3 strength. So more than likely they're going to be able to hit almost every character except for like a Maui or something. And you can even add even an extra layer to that and use cards like Painting the Roses Red and Ursula to draw cards and then combo off the Kita and then do a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? So I think this card has some decent potential next format with that combo. At least that's what I'm seeing right now on the Pixelborn meta. So as you can see, they have been going up just a little bit in price. Being able to use Kita and combo off with Under the Sea is kind of nice. Under the Sea is a Sing Together song that basically, like I said, it's a board wipe. It moves all of your opponent's cards, or actually I think it moves all the characters on the board that have 2 strength or less to the bottom of the deck. So I think it might be yours as well. In fact, let me go ahead and double check that real quick. Crazy. It's actually just the opposing characters. So this card's even better than I thought. It's just the opposing characters. So yeah, just the opposing characters are going to move to the bottom of the deck. I don't think Tinkerbell is going to be bad at all next format either, especially with cards like Diablo in the meta. If you challenge a character and you clear it with Tinkerbell, you can deal 2 damage to that Diablo or something, because the evasiveness is going to make it really awkward to deal with. Or even just playing 2 Tinkerbells back to back is going to deal enough damage to clear that Diablo. And they're less than $10 right now, $6.93. They're so cheap. I think the cold foils are super cheap as well right now. They're less than 20 bucks, right? Dude, $12 for a cold foil Tinkerbell? That is so cheap. I want to buy like at least 3 of them myself. Like, I get paid Friday. I really hope by Friday they're still this cheap, because when I get paid, I'm definitely buying a playset of cold foil Tinkerbells. $12? That is so cheap. So cheap. So cheap. Whole New World. Again, these restocks, they made an impact, but Whole New World, less than $10 right now. $8.93 low is verified by Gemini Games LLC. Obviously, another powerful card that's going to be used next meta as well. I think if you're playing Sapphire Steel, or if you want to play Amber Steel Song or something, you're going to want to use Whole New World. The cold foils are still less than 20 bucks. $19 MPLS card exchange. Nice to see. They were $30 at one point. Ariel Spectacular Singer is as low as $2.50 with $1.22 shipping. After that, though, they start to hit $3.75 already, so almost $5 is what it's looking like for that Ariel. Almost $5 if you're buying it online anyway. It's probably $4 in person. The cold foils, I want to say, are still around $12. $11.60 for a light plate, but if you want a near mint, lowest verified is going to be $13.50 by Columbus Card Shop. So almost $15 for the cold foil Ariels. Like I was saying, Ariel being a Singer 5, it makes it very powerful in a meta where now we're going to be seeing these Sing Together songs. This Sing Together mechanic is really good. If you open up Cinderella Ballroom turn 1 and Ariel turn 2, you can sing Together as high as 7 already. So you can start using This Is My Family, and then you play another character eventually, and you can start using all the higher ones as well. So I do think this card has some decent potential coming up soon, and we have a shipped Ariel coming up like we were just talking about earlier, so that makes it even more high potential. Maui, I think Maui's never going to be bad, guys. This card is just so good. $9.22. It's slowly climbing back up. They were as low as like $8 last week, I want to say. $9.22 low is verified by Paper or Plastic. After that, they're already $10 again by G Games. So almost $10 again for the Mauis. Fishbone Quills, be sure to get these staples right now while you can, guys, before they start going back up. Fishbone Quills around $5 again. Crispy Gaming $3.94 with $1.22 shipping. After that, $4.93 with $1.22 shipping. So this is the only one that is less than $1 before they hit $5 before the shipping. So and even here, Collectibles by MC, they got 16 of them ready for you, so they're going to be $5 for a cool minute. But I think that's really cheap when this card was hitting almost $10 at one point. Be prepared. Same thing. These were definitely $10, even almost 15 at one point. You can see the high point right here. That's the average, the median right there. So you could tell they were somewhere selling for even more than that. So around $7.90, lowest verified Paper Plastic for a non-foil. Be prepared. These are some staples you need in your decks, guys. So right now they're still really cheap. Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, like I was just saying, it's gonna have a lot of high potential. That Singer 3, being able to stack that, combo it off with other Cinderellas, other Ariels in the Amber deck, is gonna let you sing high cost Sing Together songs, right? So I think this card has high potential, and they're still super cheap. Lowest verified is $4 with $1.22 shipping. That's cool to see. And I also think if you don't want to play Emerald, you don't want to play Diablo, opening up Cinderella with the Storm Rage on is always a good play, right? So if you want a cold foil Cinderella, $7, lowest verified, $7.57 actually by 5 dice. Lowest verified today for the cold foil Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, less than $10. Can't beat that. I think that's not bad. Prince John, Greediest of All. I think this is a great card. Like it's staple in Emerald at this point, right? It's like one of the draw engines. Diablo adds a lot of extra draw power to the deck, but I think because Emerald's going to be really hyped in the beginning of the format, why not, right? So these are already slowly going up just a little bit this week. The lowest verified today is going to be for the near mint. We have $2.29 actually with $1.22 shipping by Rocket Gaming Corner. Shout out you guys for this low price on the non-foil Prince John. Cold foils are going to be almost $10 though. Lowest verified is going to be $8.48 by Top Decks TCGs. You can find them for around $7 from some non-verified sellers if you'd like, but you know, verified sellers is going to be around $8 for the cold foil Prince Johns. And like I said, I don't know how relevant Prince John's going to be, like how much he's going to be needed in some of these decks, but at least in the beginning when people are like testing out Emerald and all that, for sure Prince John's going to be hyped. So if you have cold foils, you know, and you have them in your binder, people are probably going to start asking for those. I think I want to switch to Emerald, bro. Some of these Emerald cards are crazy. Madam and Fox, staple and Amethyst. I think an Amethyst just needs a rush card, and it is the only one that we have that's inkable, which is kind of, you know, it's really important. Big city cards, $4.97 with $1.22 shipping. They're still selling for $5, a little bit more than $5 if you're buying them online, actually. The cold foils did come down a little bit. Lowest verified is going to be $14.98 with a $1.49 shipping. So these were selling for a little bit more, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, these were selling for closer to 20 bucks last week. $18.77, $19.99, $18.49. As of today, they're less. They're around $15 right now. So I feel like that's a good come up, right? Especially if you just want to foil out your deck right now. Madam and Fox is a little bit cheaper than it was before. Merlin Rabbit, a staple for sure that has been coming down in price. Look at this. They used to be around $3 to $4. Right now you can find it for as low as $1.18 with $1.22 shipping. Shout out Quibbles TCG for having this lowest verified pricing today. Cold foil rabbits are going to be $10, which these have just been going up. Wow, check that out. They've been selling for more than $10 actually. They've been selling for like $11. Lowest verified is going to be $10.29 with 80-cent shipping. That's $11 right there. After that, $11.99 with $1 shipping. These are almost $12 cold foils now. Wow, rabbits going up in price. That's really nice to see. Staples, cold foil staples, my goons, cold foil staples. And the last meta card I want to go over today is going to be Teeth and Ambitions, because like I was talking about, Diablo is going to be super popular in the beginning of the meta. So if you're playing like a Ruby Amethyst deck, maybe consider playing Teeth and Ambitions again or something, because you're going to want to get rid of the pesky Diablos or those pesky shift characters, you know, in the Amber Steel decks and whatnot. And I think this card has some decent potential. It was already doing really good towards the end of the format in a lot of Ruby Amethyst lists. So I think why not, right? Right now the non-foils are going to be super cheap. Look at this. They're as low as 76 cents with $1.22 shipping, and the cold foils I think are going to be still pretty cheap right now. Yep, less than $5. $3.85 with the $1.22 shipping. MPLS card exchange around $5 if you're buying it online, but you know, around $4 if not. So that's kind of nice. Again, Teeth and Ambitions, I think it's going to have some nice potential next format, at least in the beginning of the format. But let's get on into some new listings for some of these promo cards. Some news happening. We have seen some sales for this 4 dozen eggs happen on this card. $89 is what they sold for just recently, and now there's only 2 listings left. Lowest verified is going to be $99 by the Card Nest for this 4 dozen eggs promo. So if you have this promo, be sure to value it correctly. It's almost $100 now, which is kind of wild. So if you're in the US out here, it's pretty expensive. The Maleficent playmat, and another one sold for $150 in May, and now the lowest listing is now $250, and there's 2 listings. Sorry, there's 1 listing at $250, and the rest of the listings are at $300 already. So these always get listed around this price, and then we always see them get listed at $150 and they sell. I'm really curious to see if this is the first playmat to sell for like this price. That's not like, you know, the Stitch prize playmat. So let's see if it sells for $250. I'm very curious about that. This is the Tinkerbell playmat that you're gonna get for set 4. This is what I'm going to Disneyland for. I'm already getting booster boxes allocated from Zach Stone. Shout out Zach Stone. You know what I mean? So I'm not even worried about packs. I'm just worried about the mats. I'm worried about troves and gift sets, because I know this Tinkerbell mat is going to be hype. I want one for myself. I want one to hang on the wall as like a frame. I want one to give to my kid on their 13th birthday. Like I just want a lot of these. These are cool. maybe not a lot of them, but I just want to at least really keep one sealed or something. You know what I mean? Because it's going to have for sure some nostalgia. I think it's the first chapter Tinkerbell. You know what I mean? And the Rapunzel mat's nice too, but this one I think is going to be what everyone's asking for. So if you can get your hands on this mat, if you don't have a Disneyland around you and you gotta line up at an LGS or make some pre-orders or do something to make it happen, I think you're gonna want to hold on to these sealed, especially if we're seeing this Maleficent mat list for $250, right, and then sell for $150 plus shipping very confidently. I do want to go over some Enchanted news before we call it a day. Elsa's definitely selling for less and less every day is what it's feeling like. Lowest recent sale today, we have one for $1,100, another one sold yesterday for $1,100, and then $10.95 over the weekend. Lowest verified today is going to be $1,192 with 91 cents. So lowest verified is still around 1,200 today. Cardboard Castle, shout out you guys for holding the line, keeping it steady. I like that it's still in the 4 digits. I don't think it's going to be any less than like 4 digits. I think 12 is like a more than reasonable number. 1,100, you're getting the deal. You know what I mean? So Elsa coming down in price a little bit. We will check the PSAs in a bit. I do want to check my Stitch stonks. If you have a light plate Stitch, very unfortunate. 630 is what they're going to be listed at right now. They've been selling for around 540 is the most recent light plate. Wow, that's kind of crazy. I do want to check out this photo. I'm curious why, 540. What's so light plate about it, buddy? Let's check this out. Okay, this don't look too bad. Oh yeah, you can see kind of like the edges right here, and this is how they handed out this. Yeah, you can see the edges right here. That's unfortunate, and this is how some people won their Stitch. It was very unfortunate. I'm not sure if they arrived in sleeves when they were given to the stores, but yeah, you can just straight up kind of see from the naked eye. There's some interesting marks right there, which is again unfortunate. Oh wow, if we zoom in even more, oh yeah, you can see them, and it makes sense why you list that as light plate and why it would have sold for that much. But I'm glad that the seller sold it for that much. That's some honest purchasing. I think that the buyer was probably happy. I'm glad they included a photo as well because you're able to see, and that's not too bad either. I just think maybe getting it graded might not have been the move. But if you want a near mint, 676 is what they sold at couple days ago over the weekend. 644 over the weekend as well. Lowest verified for the near mint Stitch is going to be 669.99, almost $700 by the Rixian Arena. Almost $700 for the Stitch is the lowest verified listing today. We will check that on eBay as well. Or I mean on 130 point, we'll see what they're recently selling for. Ursula, Deceiver of All, like I was saying, very popular in the new coming format. I think the Enchanted is going to have some interesting movement as well in the upcoming format. Lowest verified today is going to be 389 for the near mint. For the lowest verified, Izzy Comics, Enchanted Rare, Ursula. This is pretty cool. I like this card a lot. It did have like a weird like buyout at one point. Remember, like it was selling for like almost like 500 at one point. And some did sell for that much. So I'm glad that the pricing is a lot more reasonable. Yeah, $7.99. That's well, that's probably like a PSA, right? What is that? PSA 10. Okay, so there's a PSA 10 that sold for $7.99. Oh, but there were some sales that were happening. $394, $400, $448. So it has been coming down. It's a decent price right now, and I think this card definitely going to see some more meta play next format. So less than 400 compared to when they were selling for more than 400, which I think might be a deal. Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, still lowest verified listing is going to be 408. I like that it's still in the $400 range, more than 300, which is what it was sitting at for a very long time. We have some sales that were moving around 490, 369, 424. This is all within May already. So they've been kind of coming down from like the 450 to 490 range, and now you can find them for as low as around 400. So a lot of the Enchanted cards, not just Elsa, have been kind of cooling off a little bit. So if you were looking to pick up some Enchanted, they have been kind of coming down. Now might be the time, or somewhere around this time in the next coming weeks. Alice Growing Girl, lowest verified today is going to be 268. During the peak of the Enchanted hype about a month ago, these were selling for more than 300. As you can see here, we have some sales: 343, 323, 335. After that, even 275, 278. So lowest verified being around that same price, 268. Not too bad. Still kind of chilling around less than 300 though, which is good to see, because that hype was really real. So like I said, if you missed out on the hype a couple months ago when the Enchanters were like selling and just going up in price, right now they're kind of cooling off a little bit. I do want to go over the PSA stitches, or even just like the eBay information from the most recently sold stitches, because we do have some updates. We have a stitch that sold through auction on eBay for $655. That was 19 bids, so maybe you can find some even cheaper options on eBay, but still close to $700, right? Another one for $650 on May 12th. These are for the raw stitches. And then we do have some PSA stitches that have been selling as well on eBay. We have a PSA 10 stitch, 25 bids in this auction. This sold on May 12th, which was yesterday on Sunday, $2,375, which is way less than what we looked at when we looked at it last week, right? Another PSA 10 stitch sold, best offer accepted, $2,300. This was on May 11th. On May 9th, we have a PSA 10 that sold for $2,700. On May 8th, we have a PSA 10 that sold for $3,000. So it's looking like since the beginning of early May, when we saw that $3,500 PSA 10 stitch, so they've just been coming down. Now we can see it came down from $3,500 being the May 5th comp to as low as $2,375 being the most recent comp today on May 12th. That's literally a week. Oh my gosh. You see what a week does, my goons? Like, if you wait a week before you, like, you know, before you jump the gun on some of these cards, you'll literally save $1,000. That's actually kind of wild. So, you know, like I've been saying, when the cards come out, they're super hyped, they usually tend to go down, or usually when they shoot up in price like Elsa, they tend to come down. Look at this PSA 10 Elsa that sold on May 12th, which was yesterday, $1,750. My heart hurts for the goons that I know probably paid a little bit more than that. But I mean, the hype was very real. Like, people were trying to push this card to sell for more than 3,000 at the PSA 10, and it just wasn't there. You know, so we do have some sales for the raw Elsa as well, 1,099. So about 1,100, 1,100 right here on March 20th. Why is it so many March? It's crazy. On May 11th, we have a PSA 10 that sold for 1,900. That was with 31 bids through auction. So that's not too bad, but still less than 2,000. May 11th, we have a PSA 9 that sold for 1,050. A raw here is sold for $867 on May 11th with only 8 bids. So sometimes you can find some crazy deals on eBay, right? PSA, like I said, PSA 10 Elsa is still, you know, kind of coming down, 1,900, like we were just talking about, 1,000 for that PSA 9. Another PSA 10 selling for 1,900 on May 10th. That was Mother's Day. So yeah, less than $2,000 for the PSA 10 Elsa is what we're looking at. So if you do have these, I still say obviously hold on to them. I see no reason why you'd want to get rid of a PSA 10 Elsa. I think in the future that's always going to be nice, but definitely a lot cheaper. And if you were subjected to the FOMO, don't let it get to you. Just remember next time. Remember next time when we start seeing all this hype and rush for any cards, you know, just know that they have to slow down at some point. But yeah, that's going to be all for this market watch. Remember, my goons, Ursula's return, going to hit the shelves this Friday. I'm super excited. I can't wait to play the new meta. We're playing on Pixelborn. Got some videos coming out. I'm going to be in Atlanta. So I'm also focused on the Inklands meta because I have to, you know, prep for that tournament because I want to win those prize cards. But the Atlanta tournament is in it's like in 2 weeks. So, or like a week almost. Oh my gosh. So like in like a week and a half, dude. So we're going to see, you know, what those prize cards, the Golden Mickey, the Cinderella, the Rapunzel, all those top prize cards, we're going to see what those do to the market. But until then, remember to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you goons next time.